Well, good morning and happy Monday. I'm Dorothy Sherman. Here are your headlines. Authorities in Georgia say an 8-year-old girl was killed in an accidental shooting that also injured her mother. Well, there were seas of red and black in Memphis earlier today as UGA fans flocked to the birthplace of rock and roll for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Jenna Caleri spoke to a few fans ahead of today's game who shared their thoughts about the season and the future of the program. Police detectives at work as a shooting broke out, several reportedly injured and one confirmed dead. Our reporter Robbie Watson tells us it happened here at 2221 10th Street. Information is limited, but we hear the suspected gunman is still on the loose, escaping the crime. Here's what the scene looked like earlier this evening. The second grader has hundreds of stitches and he lost one ear. Tony Thomas reports on the long road of recovery ahead for this little boy. Right, well, check this out, guys. It may not happen often, but for some, when you throw a pass out to NFL quarterback and former Auburn Tiger Cam Newton, he catches it and runs right to you. That's exactly what happened today for 10-year-old Phoenix City boy Taylor Deckard. A decline in accidents could very well be the result of city efforts.
Well, despite Alabama Supreme Court's ruling last week, its Victory Land doors, its owner Melton McGregor says will reopen in the coming weeks.
Hey, can I go ahead and guess?
Yeah, what do you think?
Okay, that's how much she makes in a day.
Well, one thing that won't be happening here today at the Lee County Justice Center is a pretrial hearing for Alabama House Speaker Mike Hubbard, as the hearing has been delayed, and once again, so has the trial. When officers responded just a few minutes later, they say they were able to make contact with Trayvon as he was walking out of the house.
Welcome back. Well, attention fast foodies, McDonald's is about to test a new business model in St. Joseph, Missouri with an eyebrow-raising feature. All you can eat fries. That's what I'm talking about. I'm behind the video board right now, and just to show you how tall this thing is, the top of the audio cabinet is 20 stories tall.
Production of each fish finder starts here with these machines. These machines create what you could consider the brains of each fish finder.
Dana, we have gotten several reports of accidents because of this weather. What can you tell folks?
Yeah, I was driving from Auburn a couple hours ago.
It may be a good thing that the sales tax increase did pass, because even though it's mid-afternoon and there's no one on these fields right now, come later tonight, kids will be swarming this park. Behind-the-scenes operations are important as it helps keep the Barbasol Championship moving along. Here's a look at some of Barbasol's inner workings. 50 years from the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and here's what you see in Selma. A city once plagued with racial discrimination has young and old, people of all races and backgrounds coming together to remember the fight for voting rights.
We gather here to honor the courage of ordinary Americans willing to endure billy clubs and the chastening rod.
Crowds bring in U.S. congressmen and women from state legislatures.
I'm excited being here.
To celebrities.
Fight for justice continues.
And many people like Eugene Sanders, who in 1965 was a foot soldier for voting rights in Selma. Sanders was only 17 when he was met with tear gas and billy clubs on Edmund Pettus Bridge, a day also known as Bloody Sunday.
I hope that this 50th anniversary marks that the younger generation will see what we are done and what we pay and get out to vote.
I'm really thankful that they gave us the chance to vote.
Our country has come a long way since Bloody Sunday and everything that took place on Edmund Pettus Bridge. But the question is now, where do we go from here?
Let me just ask you a question for a reason. Where are you going from here?
People have the right to vote. We're going to see that protected and cannot be eroded. But there are just a lot of issues about how do we help the middle class.
50 years after Selma, there are laws across this country designed to make it harder for people to vote.
The future is never certain, but what history shows us is change can happen. And 50 years later, voting rights is still important. For WLTZ First News, I'm Dorothy Sherman. On 32nd Street in Phoenix City sits a home once occupied by Louisiana movie theater shooter Rusty Hauser.
He was always very withdrawn, and he never really came outside all that much.
From odd and withdrawn to more recent destructive behavior, Norman Bones says he bought Hauser's house on 32nd Street in 2014 after was
foreclosed on. And when he asked Hauser when he'd be moving out, Bones says Hauser said a few choice words, then slammed the door in his face, not knowing that when he'd return to the home, it would be destroyed inside.
Put cement in every drain, in sink, laboratory, commode, everywhere you could, showers.
Stuffing all over the place, paint all over the walls, human BM everywhere, cut up dead fish. He had fish in the back, but he cut them up and smelled them, made everything smell. Walked in where he had a gas line, a gas log that was unattached and lit with gasoline cans in front. He's waiting for us, whoever, to come in and it to blow up.
The family say they knew Hauser from church too, and say his actions were not that of the Hauser they knew from church. But according to documents obtained by WLTZ, in 2008, Hauser was involuntarily committed into the West Central Regional Hospital in Columbus for mental illness by his family, saying that he was acting erratic, citing he suffered from manic depression and bipolar disorder. Russell County Sheriff Heath Taylor says there's not enough being done to treat mental illness.
The states and the cuts that are being made as far as mental health around the state is allowing a lot of these people that should not be walking around to be out in the community.
In March 2015, his wife Kelly filed for divorce from Hauser in Carroll County, Georgia. For WLTZ First News, I'm Dorothy Sherman. She's known to Valley locals as the lawnmower lady. A woman periodically photographed going to Arby's, the bank, and running errands, all on her red Craftmaster lawnmower.
I call this the Cadillac.
But Lori Boyd is much more than a woman seen on mower missions. The New England native tells me she loves dogs, horses, laughter, and the Patriots.
How can any girl in their right mind not like football? You got, 60 men in spandex and the hottest looking, I mean, geez, you could be something wrong with you if you don't like that. You know?
Boyd, who mows lawns for a quick buck or sometimes for free, has no car and tells me she suffers from multiple sclerosis and last year had a bad fall. She says she decided to use the mower as a means of transportation when it became too difficult to walk to the store.
I used to pay the neighbors to take me, and then it just got out of hand money-wise.
But the situation doesn't stop Boyd from brightening the lives of others.
I've been delivering her mail for quite a few years. She's a mess. She's always a joy to talk to. She's got a funny story.
On social media, one lady described Boyd as someone who'd give away the shirt off her back. Another recalled a time where Boyd dropped by just to hand out candy.
If you could do something nice for somebody, even if it don't cost you a lick, just saying hello to somebody or tell them they look pretty. They could be the ugliest person in the world, but just tell them they look pretty and make somebody's day. Push it forward.
It's a motto she tries to live by, no matter the situation. For WLTZ First News, I'm Dorothy Sherman. Locked, sealed, and into the ground goes the Auburn family's only known time capsule. A moment pressing pause on the present.
We're trying to preserve the present a little bit and give future generations a glimpse into what our lives were like at this time.
A crowd gathers as Wednesday Auburn Art Retail Store buries their Preserve the Present time capsule in downtown Auburn, never to be seen again until 2065.
We are going to have 2 pavers that are engraved that denote where the time capsule is and the year that it should be opened in 2065. So people will be able to walk by, from forever and be able to see it and see that the time capsule is buried there.
When it's reopened 50 years later, the future Auburn family will have quite a few things to see as Auburn Art collected all sorts of personal mementos.
Tons of the Auburn family submitted pictures with notes written on the back about their lives and the story that each picture represents. We've got pieces of the original tree, pieces of the original corner where the paw was.
Though who knows how the future you and I will react to what is and what will be a historic capsule. Some who submitted a a few items share with the future. We'll see if them or the next generation peeks into their past.
Actually kind of made mine based on the story of meeting Emily and Cliff. Emily rescued me when I was a freshman in 2010, and so I put a lot of pictures of me and her from back then up until how I've ended up at Auburn now in 2015 as their manager.
Mostly documenting sort of that my journey as a student and as a graduate and living here for an extra year.
It's goodbye for now. See you again in 2065. For WLTZ First News, I'm Dorothy Sherman. 'Twas the week of Blue Friday when all through Auburn's downtown, not a shop was sleeping as it's Black Friday and Iron Bowl weekend count down.
We're just trying to get everything straightened up, trying to make everything easy for people to come in here and shop.
On Monday, the clothes were folded with care. And hopes Blue Friday, more shoppers may be there.
I think probably between 15,000-20,000 in a day. Just people being in town, the Iron Bowl's here, and it's very exciting.
Some downtown shoppers say they have some Christmas presents to buy. From electronics to books or maybe a tie.
We're almost completely done shopping.
So how does that make you feel?
Great. I can get it done and not have to do anything in December.
A National Retail Federation survey finds over 100 million Americans plan to shop this weekend. But not all folks are planning to shop and spend.
I try to do like the online stuff more probably than actually going out and physically going to the stores and waiting. But if somewhere has, an item that I'm looking for, I'd definitely go shopping on Black Friday.
15% off, 20% off. It seems sales downtown Friday could be bright. So shoppers, happy Blue Friday to all, and to all, good night.
Along with discounts, Blue Friday also brings in a little celebration as well. Here at the Gay Street parking lot, there will be music and activities for the kids. A lot of stuff happening here on Blue Friday. For WLTZ First News, I'm Dorothy Sherman.